Hi, this is Al Campbell. Welcome back to my channel. Yes, I checked Twitter today. I'm still suspended. The problem I'm having with the way Twitter wrote this thing, that if I were to delete the tweet and admit that I violated the rules, it's also saying that I admit that I wanted to commit violent acts against fare beaters, the homeless, and the mentally ill on the New York City subway. Unfortunately, this is the same garbage that I had gotten in the past when I worked for New York City Transit. They did the same thing. So I'm just putting my foot down and I'm saying no. I'm not agreeing to this. I want them to take off the suspension. I want them to apologize. I want the person who filed the complaint be held accountable for this atrocity. It's either somebody from New York City Transit did this, someone from Twitter, someone who's a fare beater and a criminal, and someone who supports the mentally ill and the homeless staying on the subway. One of these people is responsible for me being suspended. And by admitting to that garbage, that means in the future, if I have legal action against New York City Transit, they would use that information from Twitter against me. And I told you in the past, this is my former employer that I sent this tweet to. I did not ask for acts of violence. I asked for what they did in the beginning of the pandemic in 2020, which they did kick out the homeless, the mentally ill, and the fare beaters from the New York City subway system. Nobody did an act of violence to get these people out. They just shut the system down from 1 to 5 in the morning. Between those times, people were kicked out and there was no problem. Trains was able to be sanitized and cleaned and brought back to service the next day. Because people were complaining about the homeless being part of the problem, not the solution. That the homeless were in fact creating a safety hazard during the pandemic, the height of the pandemic. That's why they were kicked out. And also because an incident occurred around that March of 2020 where the train was set on fire, and as you may know, motorman died from the smoke inhalation. Everybody else was saved, but he didn't make it. So I just don't understand these people when they're saying kick. There's more than one definition of the word kick. It's just that somebody on Twitter is just being a horse's rear end. We don't know who it is. But as long as they keep me suspended, I'm not going to delete the tweet and a story. So this is Alcan saying so long for now. Don't forget to stop. I'm on many other social platforms. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, as well as the alt text like Getter and Rumble and the others. So see you there. And I'll keep posting on the other stuff until Twitter comes to its senses. And by the way, Twitter has an office building in New York City. They know what's going on the subway. So this is not, oh, we feel that you're trying to threaten people, when they know very well it's the opposite. The homeless, the mentally ill, and the fare beaters are the ones causing the threats. In fact, one of them killed the passenger on January 15, Michelle Go, and not long after it, another passenger was pushed in front of a train. So when I'm saying kick these people out, I don't mean violent kick them out. I mean get them out permanently. Not physically, not beating them up, because it doesn't work. They're doing it to us daily. And by the way, it's not just passengers getting assaulted by these people, it's also employees. And we're getting a lot of complaints that employees are getting injured by these people. So why is Twitter taking action against me and not the other individuals who make these threats? They make threats and they get away with it. I didn't make a threat, but I am the one suspended. So something's mentally wrong with the people on Twitter. So something mentally wrong, including the CEO. Sir, you may have a right to what you say on with the Twitter, but what you do not have a right is your version of the truth. And that's what it is. Your version of the truth, not the real truth. Because the real truth will not set you free.